Okay, cool. All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Creative Cosplay Corner. I am Cable Rose, your host and uber fan of all things cosplay. Today, let's give you the rundown of who's going to be on the show. I'd like you to meet the Confather.
Hey.
So now that we know who the Confather is, let's get to meet the man behind the mask. Let's meet John. John, come on the show, introduce yourself, and just give us a little bit of background. How'd you get into this?
Hey, I'm John. Yeah, the Confather. How did I get into this? Well, I kind of did something kind of dumb. Which, I mean, that's kind of like everybody's story, right? I really liked the 2012 Dredd that Carl Urban did.
Yep.
And I just love that movie. I saw the previews, and it's one of those films where the trailer is just bad, but the movie is fantastic. So I skipped it in the theaters. I was real mad about that, but I picked it up later, and man, I love that film. It was really good. And so, of course, I got on the internet and said, Dredd, let me look up some more about this thing. And then I saw some pictures of some folks over in the UK that had like made the costume, and I was like, what? You can make this thing? And I kind of heard of folks doing costumes and things like that. I had been in the World War II reenacting, so I was kind of used to the dress-up thing. And I decided that, man, you know what? I found some pretty good things out there. And as I did later with a lot of different costumes, I said, well, if I probably can't make the helmet, but if I can get the helmet, I think I can probably make the rest of it. And that's what happened. And that was a bad decision. It ended up being a good decision, but it was a bad decision because that thing was very difficult to make. It's like, I picked the advanced level place to start. Didn't know what I was doing. You
didn't pick up a Halloween costume from Spirit Halloween.
No.
You jumped right into the full blown. Okay.
No, and it wasn't like, well, I get this color shirt and this pair of pants and a pair of boots and I'm good. It wasn't that at all. It was, you got to sew this thing by yourself. You've got to sand this thing and paint it down. I've done some miniature hobbies and things like that and painted and done various things. Well, fairly handy. But boy, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I did learn that I like to sew with a glue gun.
Okay. Made it a lot easier, huh?
Yeah. But that thing was hard to do. And so so I made it, but I didn't have anywhere to really go. And so, strangely enough, I kind of completed the costume and it fit and it didn't fall apart immediately or anything like that. And I was driving past literally walking distance of my house, maybe 5 blocks. There's a small hotel. And I was driving by one day after, a few weeks after I finished it. And I mean this in a very positive way. I said, that looks like a bunch of nerds. And it was a bunch of people in costumes. So I thought, there's people right by my house. So I ran home and threw my Dredd on. Didn't know anything about heat mitigation and how crazily hot this thing was going to be. But I went over there and I ended up winning the individual costume contest. First one I ever entered. It was small.
Wait. John, I got to stop you. You're driving down the street. You have no idea what this group of costumed people are for. And the first thing you thought of was, shit, I got to go home and get my costume on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just, if you be uncomfortable, I didn't know I literally knew no one there. I didn't know anything about it at all.
What was the event?
It was a local Comic-Con, VA Comic-Con, which is a small event, mostly focused on comics. I've been a comic reader forever. But lo and behold, the 3 judges were the guys from White Tiger Films. That's Jaime Hodges that does the Star-Lord that I do now, and the folks who won the group cosplay contest from my buddies at Zen Studios now. So just that weird. I love the film. The internet said you can make this, and then a random drive-by, and I've, met some of my best friends in in cosplay, and here I am. And of course, I swore up and down, this is the only thing I'm ever making. This is it. I'm never, I'm not doing this. I'm just making this thing because it's super cool. Not like all that other stuff. This is cool. And then,
So let's talk about that other stuff. Because John, I think it's a very interesting thing. The cosplay community has a very diverse spectrum of the mentalities that are in it. Some people know exactly what they're doing and they have a very purposeful goal or journey. Some people are driving down the street and see a bunch of people dressed up and they just pull in and join the party. So I love the community of what it offers in regards to how people are a part of it. And let's talk about the other stuff, because in that montage we just showed, you've gone from Raiden to Judge, you've gone to 40K, you've done Ronin, so you've got some Marvel in there. Yeah. And of course, we'll talk about and we'll get to your Yondu, but let's talk about something like, and you had mentioned miniatures and you had mentioned some of your background and your historical background. 40K. Let's talk about your, what is it, a corn? What did you call them?
So, yeah, I've got a corn berserker from 40K. That's the big red thing with the big helmet stuff. And the guy who carries this plasma pistol. That thing. Luckily, there's been a ton of folks who have done that before, and so that I mentioned my buddies that I met at that kind of first convention. I'm still friends with them, and we still do everything, lots of things together. And we've developed a pattern to where we kind of challenge each other. Okay. And so I bet probably half my costumes are things that they've said, I bet you can't do that, or I've said, well, no, you got to do this, and then they do it, and they say, well, but you got to do that, and so
challenge accepted, right? Challenge accepted.
That berserker is another one of those. My buddy Sam at Zen Studios, he did Mortarion, which is a large, kind of central character in 40K universe, and it's big, giant, hulking. And I told him, I said, well, if you're going to cut, the templates are on the internet. It's like, well, if you cut out all the templates, which is hard work, and give them to me, well, I'll make something. I didn't think he was going to do it. And, well, of course he did. Right. And so, I'm not making something like that. Well,
next
here
thing
I am.
You're an 8-foot tall corn berserker from 40K walking through a con.
That's right. With feet falling apart and having to remake stuff and everything. I mean, that's the thing. I think, it's interesting, like you mentioned, different people for different things. I mean, there's a wide variety of reasons folks get into doing cosplay stuff. Some love to make the things. That's kind of everybody's a mix, but I like to make the stuff. Some people don't want to make anything, and they just want to have good fun at the thing. It's all good. I think that's something that I think kind of learned over the course. So people just into it for different reasons, and it's good to appreciate everybody. I mean, even you see the guy running around the Halloween, store-bought thing, but he's with his kid. His kid wanted to do it, so there he is.
And everybody loves it, right? Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. So,
but you've got a spectrum as well. So I see your foam, right? You talked about your 40K. That's an 8-foot tall. I don't know how heavy and how much complication that is. It looks like a buddy build. Somebody's got to help you get into that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. So you got an 8-foot one, and then you got a Raiden, and Raiden is literally just a cloth and rope and the accoutrement. So there's no foam. I don't think there's no special.
Very little, just a little bit on the armor, but yeah.
Okay. And then you go from that to like Ronin with your, and I can't even think of the name of his hammer. What's the
combi rod?
The combi rod. I mean, so you've got a spectrum of, but I think, and I don't know this, I want to assume, so if I'm wrong, correct me. There's something about face paint and there's something about your face that makes your character. So you've got a great Hellboy that is painted and you've actually glued on, and now you've gone to the helmet. Can we see your helmet?
I did. I can do the helmet and the makeup for that. Here's my Hellboy helmet.
Yep.
I made this thing. I think this is version 4. Okay. I like to remake things. That's one of the things I like to do, is I kind of learn from them and remake them. Yeah, but this guy, I definitely like Hellboy. I love the character for Hellboy. Yes. It's I've got a couple of patterns and stuff I do. I like to do mask-based stuff. Okay. Because I just think they're cool, and I like kind of the shock factor of wandering around, and generally this is a young person's game, and then I take my mask off. They're like, hey, some old dude,
Well, so let's
so I
talk
like
about
that.
two of them. I think the ones that really stand out for me as a fan, as I come across your page, and we're connected through a third party that we know. But as I came across your page, we talked about Dredd, we talked about your judge, right? We talked about how awesome it is, dude. You got to tell me, you got to show the audience your gun. Please show me your judge's gun.
Yeah. This is my lawmaker. This is from a kit. So, you talk about different types of things. I buy a fair amount of things in kit form. This came in way too many pieces from one vendor and then another thing. But, this is from the community. And that's another thing about cosplay is that I've seen a lot of folks, and I try to do it myself, is folks will help you. I mean, if you've seen somebody who's a really good cosplayer and they got a costume that you like and you message them. I mean, I've messaged I don't know how many people just out of the blue. Hey man, I love your outfit and I've been trying to find this thing. Do you and sometimes they say, well, I made it, or I made an extra one here. I mean, I've had people just send me stuff.
That's
here you
awesome.
go.
That is awesome.
This got some electronics in it. So I don't know if you guys can see all that.
Yes.
But this does all the all the stuff. Yep. You can change. I mean, the trigger. You can change all the shots and stuff. So I really like this prop. It's really fun. This thing.
And it's a really good addition to your judge. Like you said, you started with the helmet. You had to learn how to sew and grind and texture, and you had to do all your costuming.
Oh, yeah.
And then you went out and got the lawmaker to go with it to kind of round out that one. And I will tell you, the group of you guys walking through a con as all the judges, people know you're coming, right? They know that's that group coming.
Oh, yeah. I've been literally asked to do security. Like, hey, these people, can you get these people in line over there? I mean, I'm pretty tall. I'm about 6'4". Hey, can you get those? Yeah, I guess so. And, you kind of inhabit the character. At least I do. I like to do that. And then, people love nothing better than, when I come up behind them and, out of the way, creep. They just love it. It's crazy.
So, John, I don't know, and I don't want to say you have a signature look, because as a cosplayer, I think you kind of started to diversify. Well, no, not the bald. I'm there with you, buddy. I'm there with you. But no, I mean, I want to talk about this next one, because as we came across, as we interviewed and we started talking about this, your Yondu. So I want to talk about your Yondu and your prop, because your Yondu fin, remember the first one, Yondu didn't have it. And that second film, it really made and became a part of the iconic Yondu that I knew. So let's talk about your fin. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so I mean, a little story on how did I get into Yondu, and I mentioned before, it's you got to do that from my friends, and I of course give them that too. We went and saw the movie. We were at a con for the movie premiere, and it was a premiere shortly after, anyway, early when it came out, and we went and saw, Guardians 2, and they're like, you got to do that. And I'm like, I'm not sure. And then, of course, the movie was great, and I loved the character and everything, so they dared me to do it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it. I got something else. I got something out of that, though. I dared Sam to do something, and so he did it as well.
Okay.
So, but this fin, this is the OG fin. This is the original one that I made, long time ago. There's directions on my website on, well, not necessarily directions, but kind of pictures of how I made it. But this is made out of almost entirely Warbler. EVA foam with a Warbler core. This part here is foam, but there's a piece of hard thermoplastic Warbler in here to kind of keep the shape well. And I just basically started with a piece of Warbler, heated up, and form fit to my head. Yeah, because I don't do the, in the movie he's got a prosthetic that kind of it goes into, but I just glue it to my head. It's good enough. And
so I gotta ask you, you really lathered that thing up and slap it on for a con? You glue it to your head?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I use of course now I can't call the name of it.
Not like a
everybody knows what I use. Anyway,
that's okay. That's okay.
It'll come to me like 3 minutes after we're done with the interview, right? But it's the stuff that everybody uses. Prozaid and
because it's safe for the skin. It's safe for
all that stuff. I can't, because I'm old. That's why I can't.
That's okay.
But yeah, I just glue it to my head. And this is all just it's foam, and it's sealed with plastic dip, and it's painted. And I have to clear this off with the remover. Every time I use it. But this is actually a little bit big. It's a little bit larger than Rooker's was in the film, but I'm bigger, and so I like the look of it, and so I've been rolling with this for a long time. Just a piece of wire that kind of fills it in, and then it works for me.
I got to tell you,
paint it up.
I think it's kick-ass. When I came across your page, you were a suggestion from one of my previous guests. Paul Childs was on, and Paul said, hey, you've got to get with the Confather. And he had said the same thing, that community. Y'all were sharing and giving ideas to each other in that Judge Dredd background. And then, of course, you guys have both gone on to do amazing stuff. But when I came across it and I saw it, I was like, damn, the blue face, you've got the wounds or whatever on the one side, and you've got the one with the aviators on. You've got the jacket. This thing rocks. So what's it like to walk through a con looking, feeling? You said you try to encompass and become that character.
Oh yeah.
What's it like to walk through as Yondu?
Yeah, I mean it's people love that character, right? And all credit to James Gunn and Michael Rooker for making a great story and him really doing a great job with that character, and that's why people love it, right? They love the character, and what I try to do is something that we tried to do when I was doing World War II reenactment is you're really creating an impression. You're not the real thing. You aren't. You probably don't look exactly like the folks. You may not even have all the stuff.
Sure.
In fact, you probably don't, but you're getting closer. You're really just trying to create an impression of that character, that everybody loved that was on screen or in the comic or, or in the video game or wherever they were. And so, yeah, people go crazy. I mean, and mine was not great. You see some early pictures of mine. My skin's the wrong color. I don't really have the outfit. And so I like to evolve mine. I'm very rarely am I one and done. I just kind of keep going. But yeah, I've gotten that to a point to where people just love it. I mean, it's,
do you scream, please tell me you scream, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Oh yeah. Usually when I'm coming down an elevator, I'm like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. And I'm from the South, and so is Rooker, and so I can kind of get a little bit of the channel Rooker a little bit. But yeah, people go crazy over that. I mean, it's and I would a lot of enjoyment out of it. People want to talk about it, want to take pictures and see it. It is a little much sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a little much sometimes, and when we do the whole Guardians group, it's just that much better, because we got Gamora and Star-Lord and everybody else, Taserface and all that, Taserface. We got all that, and so people just love it. I mean, I've met a lot of folks. You find other folks. There's not a ton of Yondus. There's some. You see a lot of Star-Lord. You see some some Gamora and stuff, and so they love it. But yeah, I mean, the kids, everybody loves it. And so it's definitely my most popular.
So let me catch you right there, because prior to us going on air, we had a conversation, and you snuck something in, and maybe you thought I didn't hear it, or maybe you thought I didn't catch on, and you just said it right there. So do me a favor. I'm on a green screen, and I can change this backdrop, and I can do whatever I want. However, you are where, and not like your garage. Where are you with that backdrop? What is this backdrop?
Well, I'm on, on a spaceship. I'm in the bowels of a Ravager starship.
Right.
Yeah. This background, I created this to read, with the pandemic and everything. Some of the folks out there are trying to get folks to get in character and kind of interact with kids, whether that's birthday or whatever. And so I was invited to do Yondu reads a children's book, and so I did Where the Wild Things Are, and that's somewhere out there in the world.
How
I can
cool
probably
is
find
that?
the link for you. Maybe you can link it down below.
Yeah, we're gonna do that exactly.
Yeah, so I did that, and so I created real fast. I had some of it, but created this real fast, and I'm not going to pan either one way or the other.
No, you're
it'll
good.
Just be my garage.
No, but see, John, I really want to showcase something real quick. You, as a cosplayer, sounds like a good-hearted person. Somebody said, hey, could you get in character and do something? You could have slapped up a piece of green plastic back there and actually just, superimposed. But no, you decided, I'm going to build me. I got flashing lights. I got wires. You got your dog tag hanging back there. You built yourself a deck and a part of a Ravager ship so that you could sit there and read stories to kids. And I think that says a ton, not only about you, but about just the people's mindsets within the cosplay community. I want to commend you, because when I got to talking to you, you said, oh, I built this to read to kids. And I was like, damn, that's pretty epic to be able to take that on and know that you've got nothing for it, meaning it was just something you did. And I think that's really, it says a lot about you, John. I think that's pretty
nice. Yeah, I mean, it's the community, right? I mean, it's there's a lot of folks out there trying to do a lot of good, going to children's hospitals, you're reading the stories during this episode. I mean, folks just do what they do. And that's, start where you are and do what you can. That's simple as that, right?
I think it's beautiful. And so when I have my guests on and I bring you all to this, I love to showcase what it is. I love to showcase the creativeness and the what you all come up with. Because I will say cosplayers are very creative. But at the same time, I talk too much and I'm trying to back out of talking. This is your audience. This is not my audience. They're not here to see me. They're here to see you. So this is your audience, Sean. What do you want to tell the world? What do you want to tell cosplay? What is it you'd like to just say on your platform?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a just do it type of thing. Like any group of folks, you'll run into some unpleasantness here or there. And there's some things that folks gotta clean up a little bit. But I mean, by the vast majority of folks that I've met or interacted with, it's just been super awesome. I mean, there's just a ton of folks out there who want to help you, who bothered to maybe figure something out. Let me write this up so that people can find it out there on the internet. Or like I said, I've messaged people just out of the blue. They don't know me from Adam, and hey, I saw your thing. It's cool. And oh yeah. And then, I just get something in the mail, like, what's your address? I'll just send it to you. And things like that. There's, it's just a good community. And, for folks out there who, might be a little tentative or kind of, I'd say just do what you're comfortable with. You don't have to be, the youngest or the prettiest or the fittest or anything like that. You can just, I'm none of those things. And so, you can certainly do something there and then just get started. I mean, there's a ton of videos out there for folks like Evil Ted, for instance, is good, Punish Props and those guys. And they can kind of get you started. And, really messing stuff up, which I do constantly. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. How much like, oh well, that didn't work, and toss it or redo it. Just do, and that's the thing. Just do what you can. Like I said before, kind of folks are in it for different reasons. Some folks really enjoy the con experience. I know folks and run across folks who build these beautiful things, and then when it comes time to wear it, they're like, that's not my thing.
And
like,
that's
but
okay.
you made it.
Yeah,
but that's okay too. And so just, do what you think and just get into it. I've met really good, friends and folks I've stuck with, and it's just a great experience. So.
Well, John, listen, one, I do appreciate you for being here today. I know we've been playing phone tag and trying to get schedules aligned. I truly appreciate your time. I appreciate your passion and your artistry in what you do and how you do it. I think it's very creative the way you've decided you're on your 4th iteration of your Hellboy. Why? Oh, yeah. You liked it and you enjoyed it, but there was something you learned or something you wanted to do different, and you just keep growing with that. I think it's a beautiful way that we all either hear or take that, and then we can do the exact same thing. So I'm starting up my first cosplays. I'm going to do some whips. I'm going to do some work in progresses, and it may turn out great. And then next year I may decide I want 3 other things with it, or I want to upgrade it, and I'll go from there as well. Yeah. So I'll take your advice, and I will definitely heed that and just say, hey, go do it and go have fun. So John, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate your time today. It was a great as a guest, but I also know we're on the East Coast, so I know that we can maybe eventually, when 2021 opens up, we'll have to. I'll yell Mary Poppins at you when I hit you the next con.
Everybody else does.
Well, good. Listen, to everybody out there, we appreciate y'all joining the Confather today. I'm Cable Rose. This has been John the Confather, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.